Everybody, thank you for joining me again today. My name is Carlos, and today I will be reviewing a subject that seems to bring a lot of confusion to a lot of gym goers, which is training splits. Is there a best way to train? What's the best training split? Do I train 3 times a week full body? Do I go to a full split? Do I train each body part on a separate training day? To claim that a particular training split is superior to another is to have a profound ignorance of what training is for. So every training split has its particular use. Let's start with the most basic. The most basic training split is a full body routine where you do one set of each exercise or each body part, and you do this 2 or 3 times a week. What is the purpose of a training split like this? Well, the purpose is, first of all, you're doing a very limited amount of volume per body part. You're not getting in that much intensity, which means that you're probably not lifting 300, 400, 500 pounds on basic compounds. This is a training split that is generally used by new gym goers, or I use it myself if I've taken a prolonged break and I can't really get into training and I need to get a workout. I'll do a full body, right? I won't be able to go 5 times in the week, and so I do a full body. In my particular case, when I have access to a gym and I do a full body, I find that on my next workout, I try to do like 2 sets instead of one, and then eventually it's 3 sets, and then there's just not enough time to do the entire workout. And so I leave a body part missing, and so I'll go in the day after and I'll do another body part. And so the full body split or a full body routine morphs into the following, which would be a upper lower. So the upper lower means that you're going to do your upper body one day, your lower body the next day, you rest, and then you repeat, you rest, and then repeat. And then soon you get an itch or desire to intensify a body part with greater intensity or greater volume, and then that morphs into a push-pull legs. And so what's going on here? Can you see a pattern? When you have more time to train and you want to get more work done, a full body just doesn't cut it, so you start splitting up your body parts. And then once you really want to intensify your back, you want to do 3 or 4 different exercises with 3 or 4 sets. There's just not enough time. And so that morphs into a back day, and then a leg day, and then a shoulder day, and then a chest day. And then you have a day for your arms and abs. And then you rest or you do your cardio. And then, if you're going to compete and you really need to pour on the gas, then you start doing part of your back in the morning and part of your back in the afternoon, and you do you split your body into 2 training sessions per day, which is the most advanced way of training. There's a few famous guys like Milo Sarchev, trainer who just won his the guy he's training, Samson Dauda, just won the Arnold Classic, and he trains to this day 6 days a week, twice a day. I find that very extreme, but he's a low intensity guy. He's not doing 8-plate T-bars. He's not doing 600-pound rack pulls and heavy squats. He's doing fluff and pump, which means he goes in and he does these isolation exercises. He does giant sets. He does these big circuit, type of exercises, and he'll train in the morning, and then he'll come in the afternoon and train again. That's great if you're not training with such high, heavy weights, and you got plenty of time, and you love being at the gym. For most people, the most efficient way to train, if they're not competing, they're not at a very high level of intensity, which means you're not bench pressing 400 pounds, you're not squatting 500, you're just doing machines, and you're doing them with a very moderate weight. You know how to do your exercises, but you're being moderate. You go 3 times or 4 times a week and you work your entire body, plus you do 15 or 20 minutes of cardio afterwards. But to say, and I've heard, and you see this on the forums, full body training is the way to go. It's the best way. Again, it reveals a disturbing lack of understanding of what training actually is. What is training? You're training to accomplish a specific task for a specific purpose. So again, if you want to get as strong as possible, if you want to lift the heaviest possible, amount of weight, say for your bench press and squat, say you're not a power lifter, but you want to be a really strong bodybuilder, training your full body just isn't going to cut it. You have to spend a considerable amount of time doing pyramids and working up to your top sets on, say, the bench press. And that's going to be about 7 or 8 sets with all the feeder sets. How the heck are you going to do your entire body with that type of scheme? Well, you can't. Now, how can you recuperate, do that 3 times a week if you're hitting your 400 pounds on the bench press? You can't. So you do it just once a week. And so that's the reason behind these different training splits. The more intense, the heavier the weight, and the more volume that you want to get into your training, the more you have to split up your body into different parts. You understand? Is this clear now? This should not be misunderstood. This should not be, because it seems like people go on the internet and some things are just they're mystified. People don't understand what the heck is going on because they don't understand the reason behind the thing. They don't understand the reason. Why a full body split? Why would I do a full body split and not have an arm day? Because you don't need that much volume. In your particular case, all you need is a set or 2 for biceps and a set or 2 for legs, and on and on. And so you can do your entire body in an hour and a half workout. And since you're not lifting so much weight, you can do that 3 times a week. And especially newbies, people who are new at the gym, they have to make those newbie gains. They're fresh. They can, quote unquote, overtrain a little bit, which means that they can hit the frequency more so than somebody who's more advanced on a particular body part. Once you want to make gains, say you're intermediate and you're bench pressing 245 or 225 or 275 or even 315, but you want to take it to the next level, you're not going to take it to the next level bench pressing at those limits doing that 3 times a week. You will not have time to recover to make gains. You can train 3 times a week a body part, but you're not going to be increasing your strength. You will be conditioning your muscle, you'll be getting better resistance, and other parameters will improve. But you will not improve by and large. I'm not making absolutes because there's outliers in everything. You can make a case for somebody doing a full body and they get these incredible physiques, or people on low calorie who get fat, people who eat 3,000, 5,000 calories and get skinny. And people use these outlier type of extreme things to make arguments. I'm talking about normal general population. If you're trying to get as strong as possible, you need to devote more time to that particular exercise and to that particular body part. And so that will take you to divide your sessions up more and more and more. So I hope it's clear and abundantly clear what the heck the purpose is for different training splits. When you hear somebody say, this is the best training split, for what? For what purpose? That's what you have to ask, for what purpose? When somebody says this is the best training split, period, they're talking out their ass because they don't understand the fundamentals of what training is. So a lot of people also have this misunderstanding that by virtue of going to the gym 3 or 4 or 5 times a week, I've heard this on forums and on my groups that I'm participating in, I train 6 times a week. I'm making great gains. Gains in what? Has your bench press improved 15, 20% numerically? Is your poundage, your total poundage, your max reps, have they gone up? First of all, they don't know because they don't track. They don't log anything, so they don't really know. They feel they're getting more fit. Very nebulous, very tenuous type of descriptions of what their improvements are. Most improvements are aesthetic or visual or cosmetic, and that's usually due to diet, to cardio, and other things that are irrelated to actual performance gains. And so when a person goes so frequently to the gym, they're going to you will improve your conditioning, you'll improve certain parameters. But if you're a bodybuilder who wants to get like the largest arms possible and get as large and as strong as possible, that type of training is probably illogical because you are not focusing on increasing your lifts with progressive overload. Because if you were doing so, you would need more time to recuperate. So, how much time do you need to recuperate to make actual gains? To increase, this week I did 225 on my bench press. Next week I'm going to do 235. How much time do you need? Can't do that every day. Can't do that every 48 or 72 hours. Depends on the person, but by and large, it takes between 5 and 7 days to actually not only recuperate, but actually have a surplus of energy, CNS energy, muscular energy, to come in and improve their lifts over time. You don't do that by wearing yourself down. You don't do that by doing hours and hours and hours of workouts and think that you're going to get better. Again, when you start seeing cosmetic changes, that does not mean that you're making improvements in your performance. The reason why most people who are trying to make the best gains that they can do body part splits. They'll do legs on one day. You have plenty to do on leg day, right? It's like 4 or 5 different exercises. There's 1 or 2 heavy compounds that you want to increase your lift. Say you're doing a hack squat with 4 plates, but you want to get it up to 6, 7, 8 plates. That takes time. That takes specific training for that purpose. You can't just come in and slap on plates and go willy-nilly on reps. You need to know what the hell you're doing to actually get from 4 to 8 plates. And that takes time. That takes time devoted to those hack squats. And you don't go and load 8 plates on your first set. You probably are going, 2 plates, 3 plates, 5 plates, 6 plates. I mean, it takes time. And you have to rest between sets. And so obviously you're not going to be doing a full body if you're doing that type of training where you're really doing bodybuilding. This is why bodybuilders split. But I read this all the time on the forums. Full body splits are ridiculous. They don't make sense. What doesn't make sense is the person making that asinine comment because they do not understand the purpose of each style of training. The more segmented the training, the purpose should be to give more volume and intensity to each body part. I hope this is abundantly clear. I hope that you guys out there that are listening to me and listening to this should not have any doubt whatsoever what the hell a training split is for. And when you hear somebody, this is better, this is a bad way of training, it's like under what criteria, for who, why, what are they trying to do? Are they maintaining? What age are they? Again, it's like so many variables. Why would you train one way instead of the other? Well, it depends on the purpose. And again, brings me to this. Training is not the same as working out or exercising. You can go to the gym until the cows come home, until you're blue in the face, and that's not training unless you are trying to improve for a particular function, improve your skill, improve your performance for a particular lift. If all you're doing is going to the gym and doing the same workouts, and sometimes you put in more weight, sometimes less, but it's basically you go and exercise doing the same routines, that is not particularly training. You're not really trying to improve or supersede your previous accomplishments. You're just doing something over and over and over again, and you think that by doing this over time, you will reach the goal of whatever goal you have. If you actually have a goal, I want to be I want to compete as a bodybuilder. If you want to compete as a bodybuilder, you better get into progressive overload and learn how to train as heavy as possible, with as many reps as possible, with as much, volume as possible. And that's going to take you into specific types of training. And then you'll see how ridiculous it is when you hear somebody say, well, full body is the way to go. That wouldn't work for me. Or, I train twice a day, full splits. And I said, well, that's not going to work for me either. I couldn't recuperate with the lift, with the weights that I use. If I come in and I do a deadlift in the morning with 415 for 8 reps, I'm not doing jack shit in the afternoon. Let alone do another hour or something else. That's just ridiculous. That's just, again, it depends on the person. If you're somebody like, a top Olympian bodybuilder who has that much strength and mass, and still you're probably training subpar to be able to get in that much volume and that much frequency. So that's it, guys. That's it today. That's the little spiel, the little rant. Training splits. What the hell are they for? Why the confusion? There should be no confusion. You should choose your tools. What is it that you want to do? Now, if you are so clueless, you're very new at the gym, the internet. You go in and find. And, you're going to find yourself in the weeds also when you start seeing, no, this is the way to go. And then you'll see a video by Jeff Nippert or somebody who says, I did full body 5 times a week. This is the way, this is the best. This is the way to go. This is the only way. Ken, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? So I leave you with those thoughts. Thank you for joining me in my journey. God bless you all. And I hope to see you in my next episode. Don't forget to subscribe. Hit like, post notifications, leave a comment. We'll see you in the next video.